Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for all the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract, so get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
Yeah, I like to dance. My friends come with the Tower of Terror because they're never really sure when I'm gonna drop it. Bow!
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Thursday, February 3rd. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Tass? We got our top shot hot boy looking like Cameron today. Horse and carriage is for hire. What's up, Trey Kirby?
Hey-o.
Hey.
Yo.
Oh, what a look. We've got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last, certainly not least, over yonder, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. If you're looking for the FIBA stream team, that's a whole other feed. This is the No Dunk stream team. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. We hit you with a beach stepping podcast yesterday. If you haven't had a chance to go check that out. Lots of larfs. Tons of larfs on that one. Great questions, too, that you guys sent in, talking about underperforming role players and forgotten playoff performances from years past. So go check that out if you haven't. That new Beach Steppin' podcast available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. And finally, hey, stay on me, JD. Go grab your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com.
Hey.
No, JD, stay on me.
Hey.
Thank you. Yes, this new No Dunks rock t-shirt available over at nodunks.com. Okay, on today's show, we're going to we'll get into Harden saying he's not concerned about the Nets, and I want to ask you guys whether he's wrong. We're going to talk about the dunk contest participants that we didn't get to yesterday, but we'll touch on those and a whole lot more. We'll get to the games as well, but we had a wedgie, guys. Wedgie number 25 last night.
Simons.
That's right. Yes, the top shot wedgie king himself, Anfernee Simons with the Blazers. Yeah, just a classic wedgie, sort of like a little floater layup.
Nice one.
Over Dwight, sticks it there on the right side. Good stuff. And yeah, that's number 25 on the season. Halfway to 50, which feels good. Like to see the pace pick up a little bit.
Weren't we at like 72 at one point or something like that?
What, the pace?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started strong.
Early days.
Wow.
But that's okay. 25 wedgies. Okay, let's get to the games. Jackson, John Morant lead the Grizzlies past the Knicks 120-108. Lee, you're always talking about the Grizzlies. You're always cutting clips and sharing them on Twitter.
I am.
And you had a couple more last night.
I did. That atmosphere, the Garden was bopping last night. Boppin'. Absolutely bopping. I mean,
big bopper.
Like, there is something... There is just something different about Madison Square Garden because it was a big show last night. John Morant, the hottest sort of story in the league right now, was coming to town. Was he going to put on a show? He did to a point, but he wasn't the star for the Grizzlies last night. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. was the star last night. He was incredible, and he had 26 and 10 himself, hit some big threes. What about the handle on Jaren Jackson Jr. for a guy 6'11"? He had a Steve Nash dribble the ball in, don't get your other hand on the ball to pick it up, flicked it off the rim. He went inside against Mitchell Robinson, sort of spun him around, then flinged it over his shoulder and hit a huge three as well late in this game. And that, I think, is also the key here. The Knicks, this wasn't a blowout. It wasn't. It was a double-digit game for a lot of it. It wasn't one of those traditional blowouts. Like, the Knicks made it close. They got it to 6 in the fourth quarter. They got it to 5 in the fourth quarter. But what happened after that? Every time it sort of... every time they had a chance to maybe get it into a 1 or 2 possession game, something happened and it went against the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson blocks a Jar layup. But then he throws it away on the fast break. Jar comes down, turns into a Jaren Jackson 3. It was down to 6. Ja Morant misses a floater. It found its way to Desmond Bane. He hits a 3. The Knicks basically force a turnover. It went to Zaire Williams, and I want to say Zion Williamson, but I'm not going to say that.
Zaire Williams.
Yeah, he hits a long 2. And then the Knicks poked the ball loose, and it ended up in Bane's hands again, who Bane didn't shoot the ball well last night, but he hit huge ones late. He hits another 3. So Ja Morant himself, 9 for 27 from the field last night, 23 points, 0 for 6 from 3. He had his usual bag of highlights, all the sort of trickery and magic that we love to see from him. But honestly, it was Jaren Jackson. It was Zaire Williams. Brandon Clark, I thought, was really, really good for them off the bench. And, we've been talking a lot about the Raptors, how they're basically playing 6.5 guys right now. The Grizzlies are playing basically 10 deep. If you're playing more than 10 minutes, I think that counts as a legit rotation player.
In a close game.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Taylor Jenkins. He's relying on everybody on that team to come out. Tyus Jones has had really good moments this season. Didn't have a huge game last night, but when he was out there, he made an impact, gets a basket, creates some things for the Grizzlies. So the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson had a really good game. You can see how important he is for what New York does. 8 blocks last night at both ends of the floor. He's active. But Steven Adams had 8 offensive rebounds himself last night. Only 2 points, but it just shows again that the Grizzlies create so many more second opportunities. And when guys are hitting those threes, they're just backbreakers. The Knicks weren't able to get to that point where it's like, okay, 2-3 stops in a row and then go down the other end and score themselves. Fournier, I thought, was good. He's the one who sort of bails them out of a lot of stuff. But even he sort of couldn't do it for them last night. So Julius Randle nearly had a triple-double. It did not feel like that. He's just sort of really out of sync right now. But honestly, a really fun, entertaining game. I thought it was, it sort of lived up to the hype. I thought it was closer than it felt, even though the Grizzlies were clearly the better team.
What do you think?
What did I think? I think Ja Morant and Desmond Bane, even though they had a poor game combined, they just couldn't shoot the ball. Morant was able to control this game and get his other guys off. So that's a special night for a Grizzlies team that combined, Morant and Bane shot 13 of 45, 28% of their shots, and they still win. Why? Because Jaren Jackson shows up, and I think we can call him Jaren Jackson from now on. It's great when a son of a guy who played in the NBA is already better. And so he can take the title of Jaren Jackson. We don't need to throw in that junior and just waste time here and say Jaren Jackson Jr. for the rest of his career. Jaren Jackson, senior, champ, and all that, had a long career, but we can just call JJ Jaren Jackson 26 and 10 in this one. The defense, obviously, if he can develop a mid-range game, a little bit of a back-to-the-basket game, which hasn't come along quite yet, that's where the ceiling of this team gets even higher. And if Zaire Williams develops into a great player, that's where the ceiling of this team gets even higher. So Morant was able to set those guys up, and he obviously is encouraging those guys to be incredible. It was a great Zaire Williams post-game interview where he gets the interview, 9 of 11, and the guy who's sitting 7 feet behind him just being his cheerleader is Ja Morant, just being there, excited for him, listening to everything he's got to say. And then when inevitably Brevin Knight, who's doing the interview, calls him in and says, "Hey, get in here, Ja Morant, get in here. We want the star power in this interview." Ja, just talks about Zaire Williams. He just talks about a genuine answer about how hard he's working. So he's got that cheerleader in his corner. So the rook from Stanford hopefully can get even better. But those guys, yeah, they were able to win. They show that the Grizzlies have far more top-end depth at this point with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zaire Williams. So if those guys can keep it going, this could be a team that's around for a long time. And that's who they're banking on. They're banking on Morant and Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zaire Williams as their guys for the future.
We had a little altercation, I guess, if you want to call it that, too, with Randall trying to stick his head into the Grizzlies' little huddle on the sidelines, and then a bunch of like, "Hey, you get out of here!"
Hey,
Bane saying, "What are you doing
here
over here?" And it led to at least some great quotes after the game because the Grizzlies are asked about this, and they talk a lot of trash. This is no secret. And Ja Morant said, "Quote: We run up the chimney. We ain't ducking no smoke." Sounds like a Cameron lyric, maybe there.
Is that a saying? Did he coin that right then and there? We run up the chimney?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But if he did, it's like kind of in a line with Zach Randolph and Tony Allen back in the day, right? Like, we got it out of the mud. we're about that action, boss. Wasn't that a Zach Randolph's thing? They are the next generation of grit and grind. You know, they get after it on the offensive glass. They force a lot of turnovers, and they will fight you if it comes down to it. So you gotta love it. I think it's crazy. Like, I never expected that this Grizzlies team would be this good this year, and I also didn't. Like, when you look at him, Jaren Jackson Jr., like, he's more of a finesse big than he is a banging big. I've been really impressed with his handle, like you're saying. His dinker and dumper game, I think, has kind of come along a little bit this year. But he's not a tough guy. Ja Morant seems to be their tough guy. Obviously, Steven Adams is a tough guy, but they feel like the Grizzlies that were built around Randolph and Gasol. So to see them kind of already embrace that kind of identity for themselves is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think Ja Morant right now, according to Vegas, is the odds-on favorite to win Most Improved. And I know there's been a lot of buzz for Desmond Bane, despite being a second-year player. You know how I feel about that. But Jaren Jackson Jr., I think, deserves some consideration, too. Now, if you look at his numbers compared to last year, they're not going to be like, whoa, he added 10 points per game, 5 boards, or something like that. No, it's not that. It's somewhat similar. But defensively, and just the impact, like you said, in this game as a great example, he's improved. So I think he'll get the odd vote too. So you got 3 guys on this team that have like taken their game up a level.
Maybe he can be like the Hawks when they won Player of the Month. You know, they give the Grizzlies Most Improved team. But I think the biggest thing with Jaren Jackson, he's obviously been on the court this year.
Last
year, last year he was injured a lot, and they gave him the big contract. And you're like, you know, there's some risk there for a young guy being injured or like that. But
even he was always like foul trouble prone too. Take himself out of the game early.
And he wasn't a traditional big. He was more a finesse big. He liked to be on the perimeter. So you thought, okay, where is he going to fall? And right now, and Mark Jones brought it up on the broadcast there last night where he had that move. It's like he's been working on that handle, and you can see not just the improvement like from the physical side, from the mental side, where he's like, I can make this move. You know, that to me shows that he's put the work in and he's got the confidence to make it happen. So yeah, this has been huge for him and for the Grizzlies.
Ja Morant tried to dunk on Mitchell Robinson somewhat late in this game. Mitchell Robinson, you know, blocked him and got called for the foul. You know, there's contact up top. I saw you got into it with Worldwide Wob though, because you were like, "Wow, would have been one of the best dunks we've seen in a long time." You know, Ja Morant like cocks it back and really tries to hammer it in Madison Square Garden too. That always helps. Here it is, right here.
Yeah, here it is. Because look, the only thing is here, like, look at Ja Morant's face on this one here, because a lot of people are saying it was a clean block, and I'm saying it's not clean if you hit him in the face.
Right.
So I agree on that.
I mean, Mitchell Robinson, again, he was great last night with 8 blocks, but you can't tell me that.
You know, his face right here.
Yeah, look, he hits him in the face, and people are saying it's not even close. Look, the ball hits the rim out of his hand.
Right. So I was gonna say. So Wob was saying, like, come on, it's it's a bit of a reach to say he was close to dunking out, but you disagree. Yeah.
Oh well, I disagree, but it's also great listening to Wob because he's a big Knicks guy, of course. You know, his emotions go up and down with the team there, and I think because I got a lot of people. Once he comments, then it just triggers all the other Knicks fans.
And Wob's army.
Yeah, basically, and so many people were just sort of like, why are you putting that up? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it's fine, man. I just think it was an awesome play, and it was like LeBron when he nearly dunked on Draymond Green in the finals. One of those ones, like, you know, it was a foul, but it was like that highlight, the athleticism, you know, the dunker going up against the shot blocker. That's what we love about the game. So, but I think Wob was just having a bit of fun. I think he was just a bit bummed. I mean, the Knicks are not going too well.
No, they're not, and they're going on a 5-game road trip. I think,
exactly. But Wob's great. I mean, Wob's great for the game. He's great for the Twitterverse.
Hey, listen, Wob's army. Lee Ellis, he ain't ducking no smoke. He runs up the chimney too.
But it wasn't. I didn't feel any hostility there from Wob. I thought, you know, like I say, the Knicks are frustrated right now, and so they want respect. And I tell you, I love Mitchell Robinson. I think he's a great player, and I think if he can play like he did last night, the Knicks are gonna win more games than they lose.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the Grizzlies' victory here over the Knicks in Madison Square Garden? All right. If not, we'll keep it going. Lots of games on last night. So next one, Celtics beat the Hornets. They overcome LaMelo Ball's career best, 38 points with Eric Collins going bonkers, but Celtics get it done, Tess.
Yeah, LaMelo was amazing. I can't believe LaMelo's growth in this league this quickly. Just didn't see it coming. But on the other side, maybe the Celtics are good. Maybe they're on a 3-game win streak, and there will be a team that surprises everybody in the second half, and the Celtics are in line to be that team. I think they had 31 assists in this game, 8 more than their season average. And the shot distribution in this one was the important thing, I think, for the Celtics have been talking about. Let's play together. Let's play together. Let's play together. Tatum had 16. Brown had 15. Richardson had 12. And Smart had 11. Pretty even distribution. Stars get a few more, but not a 25 to 30 shot night for Tatum or Brown. And everybody seeing that the Celtics are sharing the ball. Even our friend Cheeve, who's up in the upper bowl watching this game, he tweeted in, Tatum and Brown combining for 14 assists so far. They even got more after that. It's been nice to watch the C's move the ball a bit more tonight, as he tweeted in. You're right, Chief. You're right. And I think the open shots, for their next guys, the third and fourth guys, Marcus Smart, were going in because they were open shots. 7 for 11 for Marcus Smart. Jason Richardson, also known as Josh Richardson, 8 of 12. He was banging home shots. So those were wide open because they were moving the ball. They have a good defense. They've won 3 in a row. They're 3 games above 500. They have the recipe for a good team. And so the big tradable asset they have 7 days before the deadline is Marcus Smart going to be moved because they need a point guard. Not if they play like this. They say no. They say, no, we're going to keep him around and tinker around the edges. But right now, they had everybody going, even though LaMelo was, LaMelo's special. You talk about John Morant's quote. LaMelo Ball had a recent quote when he was asked about who he modeled his game after. He said, me. Yeah. He said, me.
I hate those answers.
He said, I played video games, and I played the video games, and what I did in the video games, I looked at it, I said, all right, I'll go do it outside. So that's not a real person. Maybe, and then he threw in Jamal Crawford, sort of.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe it's a different generation. Maybe players model their games after 2K.
But the 2K is modeled after them.
Yeah.
It really makes you think.
It is. It's a whole other. It's a meta situation. But they're not real people that LaMelo Ball has looked at. How many games does LaMelo Ball watch? Like NBA games does LaMelo Ball watch, or did he just simulate seasons and watch that and take those moves? So that's who LaMelo Ball. That's who LaMelo Ball models his game after. I mean, he is so unique. I guess it's Jamal Crawford. But the guy is he's just the flinger of the flings. He just doesn't have anything that's typical. I mean, what's typical about the dude? I mean, he's all his forms are different. I guess they're video games.
Yeah. Back to the Celtics for a second. They have won 10 of 14 here, and I think they have the best defense in the league since around Christmas, or at least into the new year. So they have that going for them again. And then I thought, this was a close game. I mean, the Hornets hit some big shots. Like I said, Collins was going berserk. I PJ Washington hit a 3. Terry Rozier hit a 3. I mean, it was back and forth there. And then there was a play where Jalen Brown, I think there was maybe less than a minute to go, and it's a very close game. Awesome defense from the Hornets, I thought, for 23 seconds out of the 24. And then Brown just bailed them out with a very, very difficult sort of little turnaround fade. A huge, huge shot. But the Hornets had played it well. And then Tatum, another one, he drove and got to the line and stuff like that. And they hit their free throws at the end, too, to ice the game. But anything to add?
These two teams have had pretty good battles this season. It always feels like they match up pretty well against each other. I think the Celtics have the better singular talent there in Tatum and Brown, but maybe collectively the Hornets have a little bit more sort of balance across the board. But yeah, Eric Collins, man, it's when Terry Rozier hit that 3, a former Celtic in the Garden there, he was just going crazy. And it was fun. It was fun. So I do think that these two teams, it would be a great matchup in the playoffs. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure who I'd pick right now.
Take us back to the
93.
Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah, exactly. The first Hornets ever first playoff victory by them, series victory. So, but yeah, I don't know with the Celtics though. I mean, Tass keeps on saying they're a classic 500 team, so they're 3 up right now. Does that mean they're just going to fall back? They're going to regress, or are they maybe a little bit better than we've seen from them this season so far?
Yeah, Robert Williams too had a huge play in this where the ball found its way to PJ Washington, who was going to let that 3 go again, tight game, and he had closed out on it, and that guy is huge, and just I think they even said on the broadcast he could have blocked it with his forehead. It's just
that would be cool.
Like a header block, but he just smothered it, and then it went to Tatum, and again helped him get the victory. Anything to add though, TK?
Well, the only thing I would really add is that I think it's pretty cool that Chiefs tweet, the timestamp said from TD Garden. So that's respect
On the
to them.
scene.
Yeah, on the scene. Chiefs are correspondent.
Our no
tall
dumb
hat
spies.
correspondent. The no spies. That's right. But will the Celtics be able to keep it up? For a little, I think so. They got the Pistons and Magic up next. Then they play at the Nets. You never know what you're getting with Brooklyn right now. Things maybe get a little tougher right before the All-Star break. They'll have the Nuggets, Hawks, Sixers. So the Celtics might be able to claw themselves into a top 6. At the very least, I would think they are the team to beat in the play-in tournament. Them and the Raptors. I mean, there could be some decent games in the play-in tournament this year. Seemed like that might be the case last year, and it was like blowout central. But these teams right now are all pretty packed in tight.
Let's go to our next game. Kuzma and Spencer Dinwiddie lead the Wizards past the Sixers. Stunned them, I guess some would say. 106-103. I say that because, Embiid's playing and Kuzma coming up in the clutch.
Yeah, kick to the gut. Felt like a little bit of a stunner because I thought the 76ers should and would win this game with the way Joel Embiid was playing. He was just eating Daniel Gafford for lunch. 27 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists for Embiid, and it was like if he wasn't too strong for Gafford, he was too fast for him. If he wasn't too fast for him, he was too skilled for him. He was scoring every single time it felt like that he got the ball, but the Wizards just kept battling. Spencer Dinwiddie was living in the lane, his first career triple-double. He had 14 points, which he said just came because he shot the ball a lot, but he also had 12 rebounds, and more importantly, 10 assists, including setting up Montrezl Harrell for a deep floater, like a 16-foot one-handed push-shot floater, to which Montrezl Harrell then blew kisses to the crowd, which I thought was great. The Sixers, though, still had a chance to win it. They got to stop down 2. Tobias Harris grabs a rebound with about 16 seconds left. There's a lot of jostling, a lot of rumbling and tumbling. Somehow the Sixers actually get the ball past half court. Ends up with Embiid grabbing the ball left wing, pretty close to half court, about 12 seconds left. He makes a move to the hoop. Euro steps, goes up to the hoop. Kuzma blocks it from behind. Clutch Kuz. Great block, but honestly, Doc Rivers should have called timeout. They had a timeout left. They should have called it when there was 12 seconds left. After all of that scrambling, I love to not call a timeout when you get a stop. It's like the defense isn't set, go and try to score. But that only works if you have an advantage. And they didn't have an advantage at that time. I thought that's a time, definitely call a timeout, get a play to get Embiid a shot. I know he got to the rim, but that was a tough shot. And a great play by Kuzma. Pretty crazy stuff. No Bradley Beal for the Wizards last night. Wizards are 17-23 with Beal on the court. 7-4 when he sits. Do you remember the end of the John Wall era in Washington? Every time he would sit, Bradley Beal was like, we played great tonight. Everybody eats. Guess what happens when Bradley Beal sits? Everybody eats.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Only a week until the trade deadline.
He gone.
Wow. He's going to be out for a little bit longer, they're saying, that's for sure. With
They'll probably keep winning.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Lily?
Yeah, well, I think the Sixers probably went into this game thinking the Wizards sort of they've had their high water mark. This is going to be a win for us, and they just didn't really get up for it at the start. Wizards took advantage, and Montrezl Harrell, former Sixth Man of the Year, had 10 of his 14 in that fourth quarter, just doing what won him that award. Grabbing the ball, going at the hoop, flicking it, flinging it, dinging it, donging it. I don't know, whatever he was doing there. But he scored those. But that's what Montrez did to win the award. He was just a scorer. And he did that for them last night there. And that's the thing with the Wizards. This looked much more like their early season form, and probably a little bit like the Sixers as well, where they're a little bit disjointed and just not quite into it. So good performance again from Maxey. He's great. Worldwide Wob had a good tweet about him saying that he doesn't want Ben Simmons coming back anytime soon because he's playing really, really well. And I think this is one you can look at the Sixers and just say they just let this one slip and weren't locked in from the start, and they ended up paying the price.
Well, we already showed you the wedgie from the Blazers-Lakers game, but let's talk about it in a little more detail. Anthony Davis with 30 as they rallied to beat the Trailblazers, Tess.
Yeah, this is just an example of Anthony Davis being the best player on the floor. He was able to be on the floor for most of the game, and that's why people get a little bit worried if you're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, and really the recipe is, can their best players be on the floor? No LeBron in this one. But if LeBron were to join Anthony Davis, how do you match up? How do you play this team? It's exactly what happened in the playoffs last year. Phoenix had a healthier team, and the Lakers were half of themselves, really. And now Phoenix, for instance, is able to run away with the regular season. They're playing all together, and the Lakers are still middling. They're still trying to find their way. So Anthony Davis it looked like it was going to go that direction again. He had to leave the game in the first quarter. He asked to be taken out after Yusuf Nurkic sort of boarded by him and he was limping. And it just looks like, all right, here we go. This could be another huge blip in the Lakers season where they could drop out of the play-in tournament. But he comes back and is clearly the best player on the floor, and that's why they win this basketball game, and that's why if LeBron comes back after the trade deadline or whenever he comes back, it should be fairly soon. It's still a scary team to play when they want to play together, and so I think really the lesson from this game is Anthony Davis is the best player on the floor, and they won the game. Otherwise, I mean, he put together a good game. He put together a solid game. If he can put together these 30-point type performances for a couple months, the Lakers are a team nobody wants to play because LeBron will be there come playoff time. But it also allows LeBron to chill a little bit while Anthony Davis is playing well, and LeBron to get healthy because his knee it's bugging him apparently, and I guess that's what age does. As much as he is a god, and people will say, oh, he's proven that he can beat Father Time. That knee, I'm sure, it's Father Time. He's going to be the leading scorer in the NBA when it's all said and done. He's going to play with Bronny Jr. when it's all said and done. He's going to take the proper rest when it's all said and done. But he can't play night in and night out, and he needs Anthony Davis.
Lakers were helped out definitely by getting a Melo game, too, who is on fire. 8 of 12 overall and 5 3-pointers. 24 points off the bench from Melo. Yeah, it's few and far between, Lee, but it does happen. He still got it. And, he was on last night. And those were huge points.
Yeah.
I mean, in a close game, even though AD was living at the line and stuff like that.
Yeah, he played 33 minutes, which I think is, you don't want Melo having to play 33 minutes. If he can sort of give you that sort of production in 15, 20 minutes, that's better for the Lakers, because if you're relying on him at 37 to provide that sort of input, it's gonna cost them as well. But it's against the Blazers too. Let's not forget that. The Blazers, it's been a rough season. The Lakers, I mean, they still had to sort of fight to get out of this, and they did, but they should beat the Blazers. And I mean, there's not much really else to say. When Anthony Davis looked like this against Philadelphia, even though they lost last week, where it's just like, okay, there's not really much anyone can do. It's just the Blazers aren't the Sixers, and the Sixers just have a better team. So that's about it, really. It came down to Anthony Davis saying, I am better, getting to the free throw line as well, which is important.
Next game, Dort hot in overtime. Love saying that. Dort hot to lead the Thunder past the Mavericks 120-114. I knew it. I told you when we did our pick'em yesterday. Oh, God, I overthought this one. Watch the Thunder win. Yeah, they won. Second consecutive victory here. First time they've done that in a long time. Since before Christmas, the Thunder had a little 3-game winning streak. But back-to-back victories here. Dort was huge in overtime. He had 14 points of the 17 in the extra frame, and it was his second 30-point game of the season. But the play I wanted to talk about, your Aussie mate, Josh Giddey, just with a beautiful inbounds pass to Kenrich Williams with about 8 seconds to go. There was a little eye contact. It was beauty. You could see it. There's like a clip going around.
It's hilarious.
Little clip, little
bit of an eyeball.
Little eyes go up. Hey, I got you. If you cut that way, I think there might be an opening. And just a gorgeous pass, nice finishes inside. I mean, even the Thunder coaches were laughing about it because it wasn't a play. I mean, they drew up a play, whatever it was going to be. That pass reminded me. It just was like, that's a Ginobili pass.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was watching. I was like, oh my God, that felt like a Ginobili pass. Just like sort of a ballsy pass, but right on pinpoint dime, and it was just awesome. And so he played well. Trey Mann played well because those guys without SGA, they're the playmakers of this squad. So nice victory from them.
Yeah, Luka, people are sort of criticizing him too because he wasn't really paying attention. But he also, I think it's fair that he's like, this ball's not going to my man.
It's on the other side of the floor. There's a million bodies in the way.
And he sort of, he recovered, but it was just like that split second which did cost them. But someone a few weeks ago actually sent me a DM and said, is Josh Giddey already the best inbounds passer in the NBA? And I'm like,
that's some sicko shit.
I know. I'm like, I've never considered anyone to be the best inbounds passer, but he's had a couple of these sorts of ones. It's great for him. But this was a really impressive victory. Trey Mann,
Trey.
Man.
Wow. That step back three he had on
Yeah.
Luka where he lost it. Maybe he travelled, I'm not sure. But he just created so much space there and knocked it down. He did that a couple times. 6 for 8 for him from downtown. And you mentioned Doughty there, 6 for 10 himself. So those two guys, 12 for 18 from 3. That's where the game was won. Yeah, the Thunder were just... better than the Mavericks.
Yeah, the Thunder came into this game like dead last in field goal percentage, dead last in three-point percentage, but they shot the lights out last night, 48% overall, and then really good from downtown, 45.9% from three. Tass says they sort of, they shocked the Mavs. Luka had a chance at the end. I didn't love, Luka's hit that before.
Yeah.
He had 40 in this game. I'm talking about I'm not attacking.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting you with a step back three from that left side, and it came up short. And he said both the defensive play and that offensive shot, he's like, I sort of blew it at the end of regulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Luka's got that sort of history of like, okay, that can be a shot. But he had Trey Mann on him, and he just had a size advantage. And it was like, you could have gotten probably a better look at it. Certainly a closer look. He didn't. He went for it. He missed it. And then they lost in overtime. So it's the way it goes.
Yeah, so Dallas here dropping a couple games because they had been playing really, really well. Anything to add to the Thunder shocking the Mavs?
Well, from the Thunder side, they've developed a couple players. Trey Mann looks like he could be a player that can create his own shot, and this was an anomaly of a night for him, hitting 6 threes. But him, along with Dort, who is special to watch, I think, in the league because there's just no football body like that guy in the league. I don't think. I mean, LeBron is LeBron for sure, but Dort is smaller.
I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, but
Derek Favors.
Yeah, taller.
Giant Dort. They call him.
Giant Dort.
Big Dort.
Yeah.
He's the big Dort. He's the small Dort is the small Dort. The what are those? Those tiny sized Dorts going around. Like miniature doors that you see in the city.
Oh,
tiny
tiny
Dort.
doors.
Tiny Dort ATL.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Those
funny.
are big ones. He's the tiny one.
a funny
but
tweet.
he's also monstrous. So. I just point those two guys out because if the Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder are looking at this trade deadline and think about reloading on draft picks by trading those guys, I'm already sickened to my stomach thinking about it. But they better not trade either of those guys. Kenrich Williams, I think, is the guy who's gettable, but there's been some wild chatter about trading Lou Dort, and I think that's ridiculous. You got him on a Sam Presti-like contract, which is nothing. He's getting, he's underpaid. But there's been talk about trading him when obviously any team would want him. And this is just. I hate this time of year. If you're an OKC fan,
just find another Dort.
Yeah, but he's good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you can find another Dort, They found Kenrich Williams. Like, that's suddenly a guy nobody knew about, who everybody wants to trade for, thinks he'd be great for a winning team.
Yeah, but he's an old man. We found out. He's 27. Lou Dort's a baby.
Yeah, he's 22. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's hard for me to evaluate anybody who ever plays for the Thunder. I'm like, Trey Mann, that guy shoots some weird floaters, and he had a great game, and he was playing incredibly well, but, like, you get to take any shot you want to when you play for the Thunder. So if you don't perform well... you're just like, oh, well, you're just on the Thunder. I find it very hard to follow. I'm like, my favorite thing to watch with Giddey is the diagonal passes. Like, that to me is his biggest strength, specifically is passing from one side of the court diagonally to the other. He had another one, Manu style, to a corner shooter for a three-pointer, but I'm like, how good is Giddey? Is his best skill a diagonal pass and inbounding, or is he going to be like a legitimate, you can have him as a number 1 or number 2 kind of guy? I don't know. All I can see when I see him is Lincoln Doyle.
Wow. JD's son.
He's got a nice Lincoln Doyle look.
He's got the locks for sure.
He's got to work on the footwork. That 3-point pullback that he took that was blocked at the end of the game, his feet were right together. He looked real odd. Like his feet were like touching.
Balance.
He's got to work on the footwork on the shots, but the passing is on 100.
All right, let's run through the other games from last night. Trey, you got a line for everyone? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Harris rallies the Magic to the 119-118 victory over the Pacers.
Gary Harris? That's a name I haven't heard in years. That's a forgettable guy, but nice game for Gary. 22 points on 6 of 15 shooting, but it was really 6 for 11 shooting. He made 6 threes. He used to be in trade rumors all the time until he was finally traded in the Aaron Gordon deal. He's on a $20 million contract right now that expires in the summer. Is that a guy other teams could be interested in. You know, like last year, it was a guy that people could be interested in. I don't think he's really progressed the way a lot of people thought he would when he signed that big deal with the Nuggets, but seems like a solid player to me. So he's available. His contract expires. Terrence Ross's goes through next season. Wow. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, look, if
You
a
want
team,
Gary or Terry?
Well, if a team like strikes out on like, oh, we can't get Eric Gordon, is Gary Harris like a decent backup plan for a playoff?
He used to feel like he was that guy you would want, but you know the fact that Nuggets gave him to the Magic and he hasn't really done anything there, that he's gettable, shows me that maybe he's not quite as good as we thought. You know.
Did you know it was Gary week in the NBA this week? Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris, and
Stick around.
Gary Bird.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stick around.
Excellent. Rockets snapped the home skid with a 115-104 win over the Cavs.
Yeah, a silly loss for the Cavs. They had no Darius Garland. Sometimes you lose to bad teams. We just saw the Mavericks lost to the Magic and the Thunder back-to-back. So, you know, it happens. This was the first home win, though, for Houston since December 8th. 21 for Christian Wood, 21 for Jalen Green, and 16 for Gary Bird.
Yeah.
3 deep threes. Went 3 for 10 from the field. He is a streaky shooter. Gary Bird really is. Also, some huge dunks from Christian Wood and Alperen Şengün, both of them on or near Evan Mobley. I like what Coach Steven Silas said after the game. He said, prior to the tip-off, he listed each loss that the Rockets had had at home on a whiteboard, stressing the need to end the streak against the Cavs. And then he said, usually when I do stuff like that, they respond, probably should have done it sooner.
Yeah. It worked. And he's like, yeah, I should have done this like 3 games prior.
It's like, I was giving him all these tips and stuff. I should have just wrote a bunch of team names on the board. That would have worked.
It worked.
But nice win for the Rockets. Good stuff, guys.
Jazz complete the season sweep over Denver 108-104.
Much needed win for the Jazz. Just their 3rd in 14 games. No Jokic or Gordon or Porter Jr. or Murray, obviously, for the Nuggets. No Gobert, Mitchell, Clarkson, and a bunch of other guys for the Jazz. So this was your classic Trent Forrest versus Bryn Forbes duel. Forrest versus Forbes. Don't miss the Forrest for the Forbes. 18 for Trent, 26 for Bryn. Denver now is just 2 games up on the Timberwolves. They're struggling a little bit right now, and the Timberwolves are actually putting things together.
Yep.
I don't think it's all said and done who's going to be the 6th seed in the Western Conference.
And finally, I know we're going to talk about the Nets after the break and whether we should be concerned about them. Harden says, don't worry about it. We're just missing our guys. But the Kings rallied in the 4th to hand Brooklyn their 6th straight loss, 112-101.
6 straight losses for the Nets. That's the worst in the league right now, but they really didn't have a chance, as friend of the program Nick Friedel points out on Twitter. In a truly unique NBA moment, Steve Nash's post-game press conference was delayed a few seconds because Coolio was outside the Nets press conference room telling Nash, every time I perform, the home team wins. 10 in a row. The Kings still have 12 home games left.
Wow.
They got to hire Coolio for all 12 of those games.
They're on a fantastic voyage with him right now. 10 straight, I mean.
You know. He's performing at NBA games. Come on. Let him be a part of the Super Bowl.
You want him to
He's from California. He's from Compton. Let him be a part of the Super Bowl. He shouldn't be at this level. I know it's Coolio, but
saying, you want him to be doing something new?
Keep going, man. You got one more in you?
Well, listen. If you're going to the Super Bowl, I'll see you when you get there. 'Cause I'm going to.
Nailed it.
You're a real OG, man. Hanging in gangsta's paradise over here.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll get to a little Is This News. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, look, for better or worse, probably worse, I've become a coffee snob over the last few years. So much so that I turn my nose up at most coffee if the beans aren't grinded right in front of me. That's how I am now. You and me are different in our coffee indulgence in the morning. How do you like it?
Yeah, you're a prick. I'm not.
No, but how do you just like rush out, like pour it down my throat, don't you? You're an impatient coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to change. I think you need to come to the good side.
Yeah, no, somebody has to work on the show and put a couple hours of work in. You can just
Listen,
show up.
Man, I can do mine. I can do mine because while mine's getting ready, it takes about 10 minutes. So that's where I'm
that's where you're making your Knicks notes? No Cam Reddish.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I love a good old whiff of my grinded beans before I put them in to extract. It smells great. And the whole process.
So just to confirm, you said I like a good old whiff of my grinded beans.
Yes. Try it, man.
Can you give us like an impression of that?
Well, you got the little cup there, you know, after you grind, and then you're like, it's great. Great.
Thank you.
Because, you know, look, my whole...
JD, cut that.
Great. My whole coffee making process in the morning takes about 10 minutes, but it's worth it, okay? And this is why I think you should at least consider it, because, you know, you feel those 10 minutes, right? And now it's going to get even better for me because our latest sponsor, Trade Coffee, sells the freshest roasted and ethically sourced beans from America's best independent roasters. They ship free to you as often as you like, whole or ground. So you can still get the ground ones if that's your thing. It's just not for me. I prefer to do them myself. I spent a silly amount of money on a grinder. I didn't think that was me, but it was me. Trade's real coffee experts taste test over 400 roasts and use technology to match you to your ideal coffee based on the preferences and your brewing method. Take the coffee quiz to get started. Trade Coffee guarantees you'll love your first bag or they'll replace it for free. They won't be replacing my first bag because it's a banger. And I found the quiz good because they don't want to know every single detail. You know, sometimes people say, just take a short quiz and it's like 35 questions. Yeah. Nothing like that on Trade Coffee. And the coffee they matched me to for my first bag, a dark roast from Honduras. And I've got a medium dark roast blend that's coming from, that's comforting and rich from San Francisco. That just sounds great, doesn't it? You know, that's how you want your coffee.
Yes.
I'd
So,
love to take a whiff of that.
Yeah, take it. It's great. Anyway, for our listeners right now, Trade Coffee is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags when you go to drinktrade.com/nodunks. To get started, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/nodunks and start your journey to your perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/nodunks for $20 off your first 3 bags.
Later this week, one of my goals is to register for a marathon in the summer. That is my plan, which means then I'm going to start like really committing to training in a couple weeks, right after All-Star Weekend. And this time, when I try and train for this marathon, I'm not going to go overboard on running. Sounds weird, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get my long runs in. We'll do some speed workouts for sure, maybe on the treadmill, maybe outside. But I want to like inject some more workouts into the actual training. Yoga.
Bar 3.
Maybe bar 3. But definitely the Peloton bike. That's what I'm thinking here. Because I want to keep things fresh. I think that will help me stay motivated in building up for the actual marathon later in the summer. Because you do the same thing over and over again. Even your bar 3.
No.
You got to switch it up.
Yep.
And I think ever since being on the Peloton here in the Classic Factory for that pick and payoff, I could see why you guys were so hooked. JD and you know, Tass, I know you've got a version of it as well. I guess you have the treadmill. It's like, I'm
just moving my legs.
You're just like,
when I hear you talking about the Peloton bike, it feels good. Low impact.
Exactly. That's right. When I'm out on the road running, I mean, it's a lot of wear and tear on your knees. Sure. But you get on the bike, I got to get used to it from my butt. You know,
get you a padded short.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's some bar classes too there. All sorts of classes.
Exactly. There's new and exciting classes on the Peloton. Lots to explore. So that is what I'm going to do. It's going to help me stick to my goals. And keep my workouts interesting, which I like. Peloton has a workout for every goal, day, mood. De-stress from a long day with 30 minutes of strength and 20 minutes of cardio, or do a quick 15-minute total body class. So when they say total body, it's like I'm biking and then I'm like doing arm, like icky shuffle.
You're not on the bike.
Yes.
I don't think.
You can be.
Oh.
Yeah, but for a total body, I think they're implying, JD, that you're doing a little upper body, lower body.
Yeah, but they have
toes.
They
ankles.
have cycling boot camps where you jump on and off.
And I saw you on your bike. You had like little weights behind you.
Oh
too.
yeah.
So then you're like,
I got the max too. 3 pounds.
Whoa. Oh, that's probably more than I can.
It's actually. But you do it like repetitively while you're pedaling. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not. I was like, this is gonna be a joke, and by the end of it, I was like, get me off this goddamn thing.
Yeah. Wish I had the 2-pounders.
Exactly.
Stay motivated while having fun with bike workouts, yoga, meditation with this app as well, dance, cardio, and a whole lot more. Guys, visit One Peloton to learn more. That's OnePeloton.com. Back in the Classic Factory, I got some NBA headlines for you guys here and everybody joining us on the stream team. So let's do a little Is This News? Yes, first one. I teased it a little earlier. The Associated Press has it as Harden, then quote, "There's no concern," as Nets drop their 6th straight. Is this news, Lee? Is he right?
He's a veteran, so this is a standard response when a team goes through a bit of a funk like this. They're obviously missing Kevin Durant, but that's the whole thing with the Brooklyn Nets. Without Kevin Durant, they're not a contender. With Kevin Durant, they're a contender. When they get him back, I think he's still a couple of weeks away, not exactly sure right now, but that's the whole thing. This Brooklyn Nets team cannot... I don't consider them at all a contender until he's back and they've got all their guys. They still can't defend. Over these last 6 games, they're 18th in defensive rating. Their offense is a little better, but it doesn't really matter when guys... And look, if you're losing to the Sacramento Kings, then that's a pretty bad sign. Yeah. So, but also I think James Harden's trying to deflect a little bit from himself. He had a stinker there last night.
4 points.
4 points, 2 of 11, and people are sort of like, where's your effort? Where's your attitude? Because he's starting to show a little bit like he was in Houston there, where he's like, not really feeling it right now. His body language isn't great. So there's obviously the Kyrie Irving situation. He can't play home games. They've got a couple more on the road here. They've got Utah and then the Denver Nuggets. So, and both of those teams are banged up. So they could sort of fall into a win against one of those two teams. But I would be concerned if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, because they are not staying afloat without Kevin Durant at all. And their star players really aren't performing to their best. So I'm not all that impressed with the Nets right now.
When asked if the Nets needed a players-only meeting, Harden said, "I think we've done too much talking." And so they need to do the opposite of that. Less talking, better playing. But are you concerned of the Nets' chances here? I mean, Kyrie's playing in this game. Harden's playing in this game. Yes, he's got a sore hand and he's got the hamstring injury, but it was a stinker there, and they do not look like without Durant, definitely don't look like a team that could win a playoff series right now.
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing. It's like the bottom is falling out when they're losing, and they could win the Eastern Conference when things are going right. And I think could be either of those scenarios. Right. And right now, Harden said, I think it's a little bit of everything. And he is bang on. I think it's just a whole glut of things going on. Harden's got a hamstring injury that goes back to last year when he had to leave in the playoffs. That's a problem. He's playing all the time. He hasn't been able to rest. He's the one guy of all of them that hasn't been able to rest because he hasn't gotten injured, fully injured and able to just sit out. And because Kyrie's not there the whole time. So that's a problem too. They can't get on a roll with all their guys. That guy's got to get the shot if things are going to get better for this team. And they've got a couple months here. Kevin Durant, though, could be back in a week. He's supposed to get re-examined this week. That could be back. That could be a huge determining factor. And I say there's a little bit of everything because Joe Harris hasn't played since November. They haven't got their role players right like they did last year. So that's a whole lot of issues to figure out over the next 2 months. At the same time, it's not crazy that they're still the favorite in the East. They're 3.5 back of the 1 seed with all of these quote-unquote problems, and they could figure it out pretty quickly. I think every single team, from the Bulls, the Heat, the Bucks, who really should be the favorites, all those teams have little issues, and so it's still wide open, and the Nets could be the favorite if they get it all together. And again, they went into the playoffs last year with their big three playing only 8 games, but they had more role establishment last year, and they had Kyrie Irving playing every single game. So, I wouldn't consider them the favorite right now, but they could easily be that in a month. It's
looking eerily similar to me, this Nets team, to the Lakers of last year, because you said they're only 3.5 back from the top seed in the East. True, but they're like 1.5 out of the play-in. And like with all of these injuries and these guys and trying to find like their role players and who's playing and what is our starting 5. I mean, their starting 5 last night, it's like Harden, Kyrie, Claxton, Patty Mills, Kessler. Yeah. It's it's a little odd, but could what happened to unfortunately the Lakers last year, where it's like they're the 7th seed and they're out in the first round. Could that happen here to Brooklyn? Or are you concerned at all, Trey? Or is Harden sort of right? Wait till we get our guys back and we're fine.
Absolutely no concern. I'm with James Harden on this one because I think this is just what the Nets are. They're like a men's league team in the summer. You're never sure who's actually going to show up, but you're like, oh, well, we got 5 guys. I guess we can go out there and play. The fact of the matter is they do have Kevin Durant. He'll be back eventually. They're 24-12 when Durant plays, 5-10 when he doesn't. People were saying, should the Nets lose a whole bunch of games so they can be the road team on a play-in series or a playoff series? Now they have, and everyone's like, whoa. We didn't actually mean that. We were just joking when we suggested it, but I have zero concerns with this team. When Durant comes back, he's their best defensive player. He's their best offensive player. He's one of the 2 best in the league. They'll be fine.
All right, let's hear from everybody in the stream team. Everybody listening later, you can tweet at us at NoDunksInc. Any concern about the Brooklyn Nets, or you like these guys? Don't worry about it, like James Harden says. Our next one, CBS Sports 2022 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. We got our 4 participants: Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, Cole Anfernee, and JTA, Juan Toscano-Anderson, to participate. These are the 4. Trey, is this news?
Yeah, this is news because it's official. Love to see an official participant list. But like I've said, I'm trying to keep my expectations low. Not helped at all by Chuck Milan of Team Flight Brothers, a dunk coach who said, real talk, dunk contest about to be crazy. Saw something I've never seen today.
I heard that. Apparently it was Obi Toppin.
Oh.
Yes. He said he saw a dunk that he's never seen before.
Dunk it with his feet.
Wow.
If somebody does that, they'll get a 50, guaranteed. But honestly, this is a nice crop. Let's take a look at this crop. Jalen Green, I think this is his contest to lose.
Yep, I think he's the favorite.
And the guy can get up. He's had some nice dunks recently. And it's also, I think, great to get a really high pick into the contest. Number 2 in the draft this year. We've had trouble getting star power in the dunk contest recently, so I think this is really good. I'm still bullish on Obi Toppin in the dunk contest.
Yep.
I think he's one of the rare big guys who could actually win it. We'll see if he does. It's hard to look impressive sometimes when you're... I mean, he still jumps really high, but, you know, he's starting from higher as well, so maybe he's going to have to go feet on this one. Cole Anfernee, he's been throwing it down recently. He had a massive dunk against the Bulls, and he hung on the rim and was like, to the point that the announcers were laughing at him, and he got a technical, so you know he's getting ready for the contest. And then Juan Toscano-Anderson is also in it.
Well,
I don't know what to expect from Juan Toscano-Anderson. He's an athlete.
Draymond Green, like, I don't want to say convinced him, but I guess on the Draymond Green podcast, he was doing his best to get all of the Warriors in this thing. Like, he was upset with Andrew Wiggins, tried to get him to go in it. Gary Payton II, he's got hops, you know, as a small guy.
Sure.
And there's one more I'm forgetting. Who the heck was it? Kuminga. He was trying to get the Rook to participate.
Yeah.
And so then, I guess one, JTA, let's call him that, it's a lot easier, asked Draymond Green, like, should I do it? And Draymond Green, I thought, had a great answer. He's like, you'd be a fool not to do it, because this is one of the biggest stages in the NBA. The only other bigger stage is the NBA Finals, but that you're not a guarantee to play in that, when you're a guy like him. So why not? Everybody's watching on All-Star Weekend. Go make a name for yourself. So Draymond Green was trying to get all 4 Warriors guys in it, which, hey, good on him. I like these guys having to be encouraged. But yeah, JTA is the one name that you're like, okay.
Let's see.
See what he has.
That's right.
You never know. They're all bouncy guys. Lee.
Yeah.
Are you excited at all? Or are you trying to lower your expectations?
It's pretty much the same these days, where it's like you just don't know. I thought last year Anfernee Simons, I thought he was decent.
I rewatched the highlights from last year's dunk contest. The 3 guys, there was only 3 dunkers last year. There's no fans. It was a weird one.
Yeah.
It was Stanley from the Pacers, remember him? Simons, and then Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
The dunks were okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And Obi Toppin, he's thrown between the legs dunks in games on fast break. So he's got athleticism there. So good on him. These, like I said yesterday or the day before, if guys want to go in it, we have to encourage them, because there's a bit of a stigma right now of people not wanting to go in it. And I think we need to sort of get people to be like, no, I really want to go and put on a show and see what I can do. That's why I love Cole Anfernee in there. I'm excited to see what he's got. He's a confident guy. He's got a bit of flair about him. So, maybe he can go out there and give us something we haven't seen before.
I wish Anfernee Simons was defending the title, because he did have good dunks, and I always like the winner coming back in any of these contests, as we've talked before, try to defend the crown. But what did you think of these 4 tasks? You pumped?
Well, I think they've done a good job of lowering expectations, because there is no real star power in this contest. And so... yeah, you got to go in with low expectations with all of these guys, really. And so anybody can take it. It's anybody's game. It's a wide open contest, I think. As much as it is fun to watch the little guys like Jalen Green and Cole Anfernee, Obi Toppin could definitely win this, and Juan Toscano-Anderson. He does athletic things on a basketball floor. He really does. He is their spark plug in Golden State. He just turns it over a little too much, and you can turn it over during the slam dunk contest. It's fine. Just pick it up and go do a dunk. So I think the NBA, there's no high expectation, especially coming off last year. Anybody can win this thing. Anybody can be the story on Saturday night. Draymond Green is smart, though, telling his guys to go in it.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins never gone in it.
No.
Right?
Nah, he wouldn't go in it.
It's too
you
late.
asked him about it, remember?
Oh, well, yeah. That was a painful question.
Did he actually verbally, or he just sort of like?
It was there was a noise.
Yeah.
Would you call a verbatim? Was it a word? Not a word. It was a noise. And he said, So he's not going in it now in year 8. It's just not cool enough.
He told Draymond, I guess this is Draymond saying on this podcast, like, yeah, he said he's too old. That's what Wiggins said.
I mean, all NBA players think they're too old when they get to what he's like 27.
Yeah.
What is he there? He's 28.
Nearly 27.
Oh, nearly 26. Wow, he's an old 26. You're not that old, man. But all these guys in the contest are either year 1 or year 2.
Juan Toscano-Anderson's older than Andrew Wiggins. Hey, that's messed up, man.
but he's early in his NBA career, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is this year 2 for Juan Toscano-Anderson?
I think you're right.
And every guy here, Obi Toppin obviously year 2, Jalen Green year 1, and year what for Cole Anthony? Is it year 3 for him already?
He's 2, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's 2. He's in the Rising Stars.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So yeah, you got to be in year 1 or year 2 to go in this thing. That's the weird thing.
I have been trying to find out how are they doing the scoring this year, because you might remember, because it sounds like you were maybe recently looking at it. The final scoring last year in the finals, like because they only had 3 guys, then the 2 went to the finals, and they did it differently. Each guy got 1 dunk to throw down. There was no score on it, and then the judges had to pick who had the better dunk, right? Between it ended up being like a 3-2 split. Obi Toppin got 2 votes, and then Anfernee Simons got 3. So I wonder if they'll continue to do that. Do you like that idea instead of like at least in the finals part?
Yeah. Well, I guess they're
because then you're comparing.
I guess they're trying to get away from just the like, well, this guy's got this number now, so the other guy, you sort of have to give him a certain number if you think he had a better dunk. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's almost like that was just a better dunk. So
or they're just trying to get away from the a bunch of 10s all the time.
Yeah.
And then they just have to keep dunking and dunking and dunking because you can't, in theory, tie if you do it that way between the 2.
Yeah,
okay.
It's tough, man. It's tough. They've tried the Sprite, they've tried the fans, they've tried the fan vote. No one was happy with that. So
don't ever let the fans vote.
Just have one person decide. Just have one person.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. Just say, yep, you won.
Okay.
Oh, Aaron Gordon would not like Dwayne Wade being the judge. I just hope everybody brings it on their first dunk. Obi Toppin has apparently had a dunk we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm. Got to put it down.
You got to do it, man. Famous line here is, the first quarter doesn't matter. Well, the first dunk matters. You can win this thing with the first dunk. You can. You could just win the crowd. If you do something special, then you've got this bias over everybody else. Everybody will think you can do it. Just first dunk. Or else you lose the crowd, you lose everybody.
Yeah, it's true. And Stanley, even last year, again, no crowd, so different circumstance, but he had an awesome first dunk. If you remember, it was incredible. Like, the guy had stupid hops, but then his second dunk, he couldn't put it down. Like, he missed and missed and missed, and then finally just threw down somewhat of a normal dunk, and that hurt his score, and then he wasn't going to the finals. You gotta execute them.
You gotta make your dunks.
You do.
Gotta make your dunks. At the very least, having it not be at the halftime of the All-Star game is going to be a huge
it's going to be better.
But when I like the idea of waiting until after seeing the dunks to judge them, but I don't like the idea of there not being ties, because that was awesome.
Yeah, high drama.
Ties, and you're like, okay, cool, let's roll them back out here. So,
You hope they don't do that, yeah.
But it's also like, it's almost like they should judge every round after all 4 guys go. You know, like everybody does their 4 dunks. That one was a 50. That was a 48. That was a 47. That was a 45.
I sort of agree with that because, again, whoever does dunk first, usually if you go back and look at all the dunk contests, the score is like generally lower than you would expect. Because they're just like, well, that's the first dunk of the night. They can't compare it against anything.
I'm gonna go with a 9 on this one. Yeah, there might be something better.
They tend to play it safe. And again, like the Stanley first dunk, I think that's exactly what happened. It was like, it got scored and you're like, what? That's sort of it? And then you saw the other dunks, like, oh, that was probably better. So yeah, we'll see. We'll be watching regardless. I love the dunk contest. I don't care who's in it. I know some people are over it, but I'm a sucker for it. Well, speaking of All-Star Weekend here, had a late headline slip in. We're actually giving it to Nick DePaula, who maybe started his own website for all we know. It's by way of Twitter. NBA overhauls its All-Star Weekend trophies. And JD, I think you've got the photos here. We got a new All-Star Game MVP trophy. Again, named after Kobe Bryant. So there's a look at that one. And then there's there's a new skills challenge trophy.
Yes.
As well as a new 3-point trophy. So I guess they're not touching the dunk contest trophy, which is good. I mean, that's a That's a beauty. So I hope they don't mess around with that. Yes, here's a look, close up at the 3-point contest trophy. So I guess Tass,
I love them.
you're loving all of these.
I like the
Very
first
glamorous.
two. I don't mind the Kobe one for the MVP as well. Yeah,
It looks
I like how they're connected.
a little like the Stanley Cup, does it not? The shape of it, as it builds up. What?
I
Weird
suppose,
nature?
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. It's clear though.
It is clear. It's true. But you can't put anything in it.
Can't put
Drink out of
anything in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's the best part about the dunk contest trophy. Like our man Brent Barry did, cut it in half and made it a chip bowl.
Yeah, right.
Because it's shape of a basketball. So yeah, I guess when it comes down to it, every winner gets the trophy, a replica version of it. And so this is a cool mantelpiece. We're looking at the most valuable player for the All-Star game, named after Kobe Bryant here. The multi-tiers, it's nice to have on the mantelpiece.
It's pretty big. It's like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, it looks really
Decent
big.
size. I mean, not the size of Stanley Cup, but it's pretty big. What do you think, Trey? You like this one or all these other ones we were showing there?
Yeah, I suppose I like these fine. The previous All-Star MVP trophy, it's just kind of like a clear flat basketball,
Yeah.
right? So I do
Yeah.
like the idea of upgrading it, making it a little bit more substantial. It looks all right. Why didn't they do the dunk contest one though? If they did all the other ones,
Maybe they were just like, it's too iconic, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's my best guess.
yeah,
It is good. I don't think you need to really.
Yeah, I guess it was the best one. What was the 3-point contest
Yeah,
one before?
Lee. What was it? Any idea? I can't remember.
I'm trying to think. What were they? They would sort of sit there in the press conference afterwards. Was it just a ball? Maybe.
That's what the dunk contest one is.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Well, then that makes it super weird to me that they would.
I think the only memorable one is the dunk contest, and that's
Yeah.
why you think the 3-point contest one is a ball. 'Cause
Yeah.
Can't remember the 3-point dunk, the 3-point shot. Definitely don't remember the skills challenge.
Oh, no,
No.
you're absolutely right. It's almost
No, it's a different
almost
ball.
identical, really, though, to the dunk contest one. Pretty similar.
Oh, it's a ball.
The little pedestal or whatever base, and then golden ball. Okay. So now they're gonna have this one, Lee. You're the 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
What do you think? Am I making a mistake?
I mean, I don't
It looks
know.
like a cologne bottle to me.
Yeah. I look. Steph broke the record last year. I want to see if he can break the record again this season because I think he will go in. I don't think it's been announced there yet.
No,
but,
we don't know the participants. in this
That
one.
looks almost like a building, sort of some description, And it's like, you know what it looks like, where Clark Kent used to work at the Daily Planet. Was that where, that's what it looks like there. So.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Man, now it makes me a little upset that they didn't change the dunk contest one, especially if the 3-point one and the skills challenge match. I don't remember what the skills challenge trophy used to look like. I'm guessing a gold ball though. I'm just guessing. So why did they keep the dunk contest? I don't know. Bring back the horse trophy. Just a plastic horse in a box.
Final headline here. From the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Skeets and Kirby return to court after long layoff.
Wow.
Is this news?
Wow, no. No, this isn't news, but no Hawks game last night, so they had to cover something. Great to be back with the boys, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, first time playing pickup hoops in, I think we said, it's over 700 days.
Wow. That long. I saw you tweeting saying, you were feeling great last night. I was like, that's a bit of a mistake.
What do you mean feeling great?
Well, after the game, no
I said
injuries.
update, no injuries.
Yeah. But
Not saying I'm feeling-
come on, you're old enough now to know that the injuries don't happen after the game. It's like now. So how are you feeling right now?
No, the injuries happen while you're playing as well.
Well,
Pray for all my CLs, MCLs and
I just think
ACLs
it's
and
more you
PCLs.
feel it more when you wake up in the
Oh,
morning.
I
and you're
actually
like,
don't feel too bad, but I always find it's the second day after. I'll feel worse tomorrow. It's a weird thing.
Man, this AJC reporter is going to have to be on this for 3
Yeah,
days, monitoring the injuries.
Yeah.
Congrats for that scoop, though, to the AJC reporter, whoever.
When are we going to get you
reported
guys
that.
out there?
Oh yeah, one day I'll come along. Same gym.
Same gym, man. Court was nice.
Was it?
Oh my God, yeah, they just cleaned it. Beautiful.
The kids were just playing on it minutes
well,
before.
the kids were playing on it before.
How were the
but-
nets?
Dude, you've never been to this?
Yeah, I've been there, but one of the nets was kind of broken down.
That's fixed,
These are
man.
pure nets.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. I'll get back out there.
These balls look like they hadn't been dribbled in 2 years either.
Wow.
They were nice.
Yeah,
They were nice.
And I know what you're wondering. How was the basketball? It was rough. Not a lot of jump shots made. There was a lot of interior work. Trey played well inside.
Nah.
Trey, by the way, Trey was tracking how many rebounds he was grabbing on the night.
Yeah, I was a little pissed. We played 4 games. We played for 55 minutes. Only 15 rebounds. Wow. I was going for 20. I wanted that big beef, but Skeets grabbed like the first 3 rebounds. I was like, come on, man.
I did.
I thought we had an agreement here. We got Russell Westbrook and I'm Steven Adams. Come on.
It was so funny, though, to hear a man in pickup basketball and be like, 4, 5. Like, counting your rebounds?
Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. It's got the passion to there. Was there any clashing? I mean, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lee, I dove for a loose ball last night.
He hit the ground.
So stupid. You think that's dumb? Another guy dove on top of me, smashed my head on the ground. Post-game press conference, I was sitting down. They asked me, what'd you think of Kelvin diving on your head? I said, that's unprofessional, man. Yeah. Disrespectful to be diving like that. I know we're all trying to make a living out of here, but I got to go to real work the next day.
Wow. I wish there was some cell phone footage of that one. That would have been great. Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Final note on this, because I know no one really cares. I hadn't played in so long, obviously. Yeah. I didn't know what to do on defense. I forgot how to play defense. I'm like, obviously playing my guy, sort of tracking him, and he was like, he lives around on the 3-point line, so that was okay. But I'm like, am I helping? Am I coming over? I was just like so out of sorts.
Wow, what are we running on defense?
I was like, I'm useless. I'm like, Trey, you better stay in front of your guy because I'm not coming over because
That's father time coming for you, man.
Man, it was.
You don't have to play defense when you turn 40. You're 40 now, aren't you?
I'm 41.
Oh, jeez. Don't worry about defense anymore.
I still want to play defense. I want to bring that to the league, you know? That's how I'm sticking around in this league.
I can't believe Trey was diving on a ball.
I couldn't believe that. Was
like, what's going on, man? I mean,
I was just doing the dirty work last night, mate. That's it. Setting screens, rebounding, and diving on the floor. All the things I hate.
Basketball, man. I love talking about basketball for a living, but nothing beats playing it still to this day. I hope that never changes, even when I'm your age, Lee.
It won't. It's a great game.
It's a great game.
I agree.
Right. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, a fun tweet of the night, pick 'em results, so don't go anywhere.
When I say AG, what's the first thing you think?
Aaron Gordon.
Nice, I had that on my list.
All good.
Yeah. Hello, ladies. How about Adriano Goldschmied denim? Anybody out there wear AG denim?
No.
You can try it. It's quality.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah, that's good. But the thing you should think of first when you hear AG, Athletic Greens.
Yep.
Yeah, you knew it was coming. 1 scoop of Athletic Greens. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food, sourced superfoods, probiotics, and of course adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Tons of people take a multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients so that your body will actually absorb them. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself because it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Especially heading into cold and flu season, it's just 1 single scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Just AG1. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/nodunks for the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Let's talk about Just Egg, because Just Egg eliminates a lot of my egg problems. First, I never have to check if a Just Egg is broken before I put it in my grocery cart. I can never make the mistake of buying the wrong type of Just Eggs, according to my lovely partner, which I do. I buy the wrong eggs sometimes, and I never have to worry about how I pack Just Eggs in my grocery bag or if they're going to fall while I'm driving. Just Egg will never make me or my eggs feel crushed under the weight of egg expectations. Just Egg is a cholesterol-free, plant-based egg that will give you the most decadent quiches of your life, the fluffiest scrambles, and easiest egg sandwiches. It has about the same protein as a chicken egg and less saturated fat. Plus, Just Egg is packed with the cholesterol-lowering polyunsaturated fat. Chicken eggs wish they were this healthy. Oh, and because Just Egg comes from plants, you're also helping to save our planet. So that's nice if you're into the planet-saving thing. I've been dragging my recycling around the city of Atlanta for the last month. I am definitely into saving the world. Yeah, our recycling isn't being picked up, but I will not throw it in the trash. I like saving the world. Oh, and Just Eggs keep me from cutting my hands when I crush my eggshells for the compost. And if you notice here, I got a cut on my hand.
From an eggshell.
Actually, no, I'm lying. Not in this instance, but it was from dragging around my recycling. I was stuffing it in, put it inside a can, a soda can. Slicer. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, it'll save you. It'll save you. I've had some egg injuries. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm just too lazy to crush it with something else I got in my hand. Crush. But here we are. Just Egg. Really good eggs.
I sometimes think you do like composting like 10 hours out of the day.
Sounds like it.
That's all you're doing. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter. Today's tweet of the night comes from inside the building. I believe this is pronounced Toss Malas.
That's
it's
right.
a tweet from Toss Malas, who shows us an incident in last night's Celtics game where some boots got straight up dirtied by some powder here. You're going to have to pay close attention. Jayson Tatum, like, angry, throws down a bottle of powder. Is that a bottle? I don't know what you carry a powder in. Whatever it is. And it explodes all over this guy's feet. Just coating his feet. In baby powder. Yeah, man. It looks like they're fingerprinting for a crime scene here. The crazy thing to me is that he didn't, like, instantly bend over and start cleaning his boots.
Yeah, the guy was like...
He just sat there.
Yeah.
Would you be mad if this happened to your boots?
I think you would just react. I don't know if I'd be mad, but you would definitely be like, oh, like, wow. But yeah, he's just like stone cold. Like,
I guess I got powder boots now.
Yeah.
What can I do?
He was loving it. I think he was startled. Jayson Tatum was close to him. If you watch the footage, he's just huge smile, ear to ear. I guess from our camera angle, you see the powder on the boots, but I don't even know if he knew.
Yeah, maybe he didn't know.
I don't think he knew.
Finally looked down. He's like, what?
Bootman.
Were you the first person that noticed this?
I think I'm the only human in the world that noticed this. I think. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, this is the perfect Tass Mellis sort of notice to me. Something in the background, and it's barely even on screen because you couldn't even go with like the full screen picture of it. You just had to go for a 9:16. I saw with your tweet there, but it made its way around to like your House of Highlights channel and that kind of stuff. So
Jayson Tatum retweeted it.
Yeah.
So that's how it
There we
got
go.
around for sure. But you can see the smile in that guy's. His eyes are smiling behind the mask. Even you can see his smile. He's just pumped to have that powder on his boots. And as I said, his boots look 10 million times cooler after the powder.
Oh, you like that little
Keep it like
speckled
that.
look? Yeah.
It's weathered. You know, like these boots have seen some shit.
That's why he didn't start brushing
He's
off.
like, damn, this looks good.
Well, didn't Jayson Tatum say he's going to get him some new boots?
He said,
too?
I'm going to buy you some new boots.
Get you some new boots.
Or shoes
No,
or
he
whatever.
said he's going to give him some game-worn shoes.
Yeah.
Nothing new, just
you go.
game-worn. He knows he likes his stuff old and used, I guess, because he didn't clean off those new boots. Yeah, those look way cooler, for sure. Congrats to that guy.
My bad, bro, he says.
Yeah,
Very funny.
Great. Pick'em results from last night brought to you by BetMGM. Thunder Mavericks was our game. It was a big line. Dallas was favored by 11.5. And again, I sat here and I doubted myself yesterday. Because a lot of us took Dallas. And Jesus, I put too much thought into this. And I was right. You gotta pick with your gut. Pick with your heart. And Lee did, because you took OKC. Is that what you did, or did you just swerve because everybody else took Dallas?
Bit of both.
Yeah, nice. Well, you're 2-0. Nice victory as OKC not only covered, they of course won in overtime, thanks to Dort. So that's a loss for me and Trey, 1-1, and a loss for Tass, who's 0-2 here in the month of February. So what's tonight's game?
Well, we got a 6-game schedule that's comprised of 4 regularly scheduled games and 2 makeups, Bulls Raps and Heat Spurs from earlier in the season. I went with a big line again because I'm just on a big line kick. The Timberwolves visiting the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are 7.5-point dogs at home, so just have to lose by 7 or less. And there you guys go, picking the better team again. Skeets, Trey, and Lee taking the Wolves. I left it out there. I didn't know who I wanted to take, so you guys took the first crack at it. All you guys took the Wolves, so I said, all right, who the heck knows what's going to happen? I got the Pistons, plus 7.5.
All right.
Nice.
Got to
swerve.
keep it close enough. Good swerve, he says. He likes
Good
it.
swerve.
Suns, Hawks on TNT, it's a nice one. And then Lakers, Clippers, not as nice,
Not as
also
nice.
on TNT.
Not as nice. But before those games, tonight we find out the All-Star reserves. And if you have yourself an Athletic subscription, you can jump on a live room immediately after the All-Star reserves are announced. And I'm going to be talking to the people about obviously who was picked, who was snubbed. You guys can jump on, ask some questions. So keep your eye on that and get yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. I know you guys have done that, talking to a couple other beat writers
really
and
fun.
stuff like that. Yeah, it seems like a blast. So I'm excited for that tonight. That'll be around 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Tough timing, Skeets. Bulls Raptors 7:30.
Ooh, I'll have to
Game of the night.
keep my eye on that while I'm talking to the people.
Might turn into a Bulls Raptors live room. I might hop in. We got a question here from Trey K. Seems like a familiar name.
Yurt Kirby used to do post-game stuff back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Email your questions into nodunks@theathletic.com and check out yesterday's Beach Steppin podcast if you haven't already. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at No Dunks Inc. We will be back tomorrow for the Drop podcast. Can you believe it's Friday already tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
It's gone normal for
Been
you.
a long week.
Oh, it's
Hasn't it?
just flew by for me. But we'll be here 10 a.m. Eastern live to talk about the All-Star reserves, I'm sure, and the games on tonight, and any other news in the NBA. So join us then. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you have an Athletic subscription, you can also read Eric Green's oral history on Fred VanVleet and his upbringing and why he's going to be named an All-Star for the first time in his career. Bet on Fred. Bet on your Athletic subscription. It's a good time.
Brace the day, people.